All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome everybody to our new customer webinars. And this morning we're talking all about adding contacts into Keap. Before we get started, what I'd love to do is just do a little bit of a tech check. I want to make sure that everyone who's joined the session can hear me okay, can see me and share my camera, and then also be able to see my screen that I'm sharing, which is a big screen that says adding contacts in Keap. The best way for us to be able to know if that's working is to test out one of the interactive aspects of Keap, and that is the hand raise button. So if you want to go ahead, if you can find the hand raise button, if you can hear me, and click on that button for me, just so that I know that the technology is working correctly and that you can hear and see. And it's in Zoom, you'll see in like the bottom panel that there's a couple different options like Q&A, raise hand, chat. And if you're able to see the screen, hear the audio, go ahead and click on that. All right, perfect. Okay, awesome. All right, perfect. I see someone using the Q&A. Thank you so much. I think it's Jocelyn, right? We'll go ahead and answer that live. That's also a great aspect. So the hand raise is meant for audio questions. So if you've got a question that you want to ask me, you can click on that button and raise your hand, and I'll go ahead and unmute you and give you a chance to ask that question. Now, if you're someone who maybe doesn't have a microphone, or maybe you're just shy, we've also got the Q&A feature. The Q&A feature is great because you can just type in the question that you have. Another nice aspect of the Q&A is that I actually get a list of Q&A that I can see here. I can see all the questions, and then I can filter out and time those in when appropriate. For the most part, I'll try to just answer them in the moment to make sure that if you've got a question about an aspect of talking about it, might as well explore it if you have more questions. But sometimes there might be a question that I feel like is maybe best saved for an area where I go deeper into that topic, or maybe it's just something that we should save till the end. In that case, I'll go ahead and just keep it there. But just know that any questions that are posted in the Q&A will be addressed. And the way that we've got our format online today is we've got about 20 to 30 minutes of instruction about adding contacts in the Keap. And again, feel free to ask questions as we go. Now, if I don't answer your question there in the Q&A, we've also got time set aside for 15 minutes of Q&A. And that's meant for questions all about adding contacts into Keap. And if you got a question actually that just popped up because as you watch the content today, you've had a question on your mind, and you've got somebody finally here in front of you to ask this to, we'll also have some time set aside at the very end for just general Q&A. So no matter what kind of question you have, we'll make sure we address it. And if for some reason we get so many questions that we just can't get to them all in the time allotted, we'll also make sure that anything I don't get to, I'll answer directly to you. So just know that any questions you have, they will be addressed today. And so I wanted to also kind of clarify that we are working in Keap today, and particularly in Keap Pro. Now, if you're joining us and you've got Infusionsoft as your product, you're more than welcome to hang out. We've got some great content, and most of the things we talk about will have a mirror that's available to you in Infusionsoft. So conceptually, these things will be very similar. But if you find yourself kind of saying, hey, I'd rather just go to a session all about Infusionsoft, that's okay. This afternoon, we have a session all about adding contacts in Infusionsoft. So if you were to drop off right now and decide to join me later on this afternoon for that one, no hard feelings, totally understand. And if you're here with Keap, either in Keap Pro or Keap Grow, we're glad to have you. Now, one of the things that's important to address is that with our products, we're always doing updates. We're always trying to make things better. And so sometimes you might see things in your application that are a little bit different in my application. Just know that for the most part, they're pretty similar, and give it time, we will be synced up. We're seeing that, sometimes we'll roll out a feature for about 30% of our population just to try it out and make sure it works right before we roll it out to everybody. So that's kind of our setup here. What I'd like to do next is just really talk more about the purpose or the why behind this topic. Excuse me, I got a little bit of a cold I'm getting through, and so I might mute my mic a little bit and clear my throat every once in a while here. So our purpose here when it comes to adding contacts is really to try and make sure that you've got all of your conversations and all of your connections in one spot. So just by way of history, my role here at Keap is as basically an expert coach. I help customers that are new to Keap get on board. I help design some of the services for this onboarding process, as well as doing webinars like this to help customers feel really comfortable getting onto a new software and moving their processes over. Now, also by way of history, I actually was a small business owner myself. I spent about 8 years having a window cleaning company that I ran, and actually for the last year, I kind of eclipsed where I was actually working on my business and working here at Keap. And during that time, I learned a lot about small business. During my time, I learned about a lot of things I was doing wrong as a small business owner and the mistakes that I had made. And also I learned a lot of the ways that tools and technology can help me be more efficient. And so one of the things that I was always running into as a small business owner is I was always out and about making new connections. I did a lot of networking. I was in my Kiwanis Club. I was a member of our Chamber of Commerce and an ambassador there. And so I was always making new connections, and I was always forgetting about those connections. I would go to a luncheon and make a new connection and have a great conversation. They give me their business card, and then I would put it in my pocket and then wash my pants and it'd be gone. Or I just figured I'd remember who they were, and then I'd meet them at another function and totally forget who they were. I get emails that came in, people asking for quotes, and it would sit in my inbox, and I'd say I'd get to that later, and then later would never come, and I would forget to follow up with that person who's like, I want to give you money, please call me back. And so I feel the pain that comes when you've got all these people that you're connecting with, and there's no real home and place where they can all live and have one place to go to see what's going on and to know who you need to connect with first or next. And so our session today is designed to make it really easy for you to get organized, to have all those people in one spot, as well as make it easier for you to capture leads online. Sometimes you're making connections in person, but sometimes they're stopping by because they Googled your service, whether that's the topic that you serve or your company directly because of your good word of mouth. And they might stop by your website or your social media, and they need a place or a way to connect with you. And then lastly, we'll talk about how to communicate back with those people, how to make sure that whenever you make these new connections, you're always getting back to them quickly, so that they know that they've been heard, they appreciate your connection, and you're building strong relationships through these connections. There's nothing worse than, making a connection, saying, I'm going to call you back, and then never calling them back. So we'll talk about that together today. And so for this training, I will don the persona of Grady, the owner of G&P Custom Flooring. G&P Custom Flooring is my made-up business that I've got working inside my application, but it's a great way for us to talk about these things in a way that is real. This is not meant to be a point-and-click training where I just kind of point you to all the features and show you where it's at, but to really talk about what these features do for a business, to help you guys see in real life what this is meant to do and how it's meant to help you. So let's go ahead and swap over to my application. All right, here we are. So this application here I use for all of our demos, and so there's some activity going in here, and you might see a similar lookout or layout on your application. You might see that your application is a little bit more sparse. And so if that's the case, the first thing I want to talk about today is how to import contacts. Now, if you are new to Keap, you probably don't have very many contacts in here yet, so I want to help you to get your contacts into Keap. The other thing that sometimes comes up is that you've been a customer for a while and you've got a list of people. In our scenario here, we were at a chamber mixer, and we had a table set up, and we basically said, hey, sign up on this list, and if you sign up, we will come and we will give you some sort of promotional offer. And so I got a list of a few people that signed up. I had my admin add them all to an Excel spreadsheet, and I saved that spreadsheet as a CSV file. I'm going to go ahead and open that up for us today so you guys can see what I'm talking about. All right. So here we are. So it's a pretty straightforward list. I've got their first name, their last name, their email, and their phone number. Now you might have more or less information on your contacts that you have, but this is the way that these contacts should be formatted. The first line should be some sort of header that is basically the bucket that this column aligns with. And you got your first name, last name, email, phone number. You might have some other things on here as well, like address or city or things that they're interested in. And that's okay. We'll talk about how we can add these contacts in and also talk about how we can add information on. So for today, I'm going to go ahead and close this down. I don't need to save it. Perfect. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Add in the top of my screen here. And this is how I can add new contacts in. In this case here, I'm going to add a list. So I'm going to import my contacts. And the nice thing is here, when you go to import contacts, it wants to know where your contacts are coming from. We've done some research with some of the other players in the field, and we looked at how they organize the list that they export. If you're coming to us from another service like MailChimp or Constant Contact, you probably went there and exported your current list, and it showed up in a CSV. Now, some of those people that you probably came out of, your CSV file might have a ton of columns. I know that there's a few out there that really give you a bunch of information that isn't always relevant, but you have it. And so what we do is if you come from like MailChimp, we actually have it set up so that we already matched up the fields in your MailChimp export with the fields in our import tool. Now for today's services, we're going to go ahead and say My Spreadsheet, because this is one that I just put together. And this might be something that you have either yourself or an admin maybe go through your inbox or your digital phone book, something that you can't export from but just have them fill out a spreadsheet for you. All right, and now I can go ahead and drag and drop my list. And there's my event contacts. So once it uploads it, it says, great, everything looks good. Our system will automatically try to match up the fields inside of your spreadsheet with the fields inside of Keap. But if you're not quite confident that it's done it right, you can click on this automatically matched fields, and it will show you what matched with what section. It'll also usually give you a preview of some of the data in that field so that you can make sure that what it says first name actually was the same down below. So I feel confident today. Now, if for any chance the information that I'm capturing wasn't matched up right, I can go ahead and click this drop down on the right side, and I can choose any of my existing fields to match up, or if I go back to the top, I can actually create a custom field. Now in our session tomorrow, we actually go over what it is to set up a custom field, how they work. So we won't go into that today, but if you've got some fields that aren't listed in the list down below, you can click there and create a custom field on the fly so you can quickly add your information in. And so I'm going to go ahead and click on Next. And I'm going to say, yes, I've got permission. This is an important thing, this question here. This idea is, are these contacts expecting marketing emails from you? We are really in support of the idea of only using email with people who want email and are expecting email. If, say, I purchased this list from my Chamber of Commerce of just general membership, I would probably say no here. The people, just because I belong to my Chamber of Commerce, doesn't mean I want emails from everyone promoting their products. And when you do this, actually change their disposition in the system. You can still add them, but they're marked as unmarketable, which means that you can't send one-to-many emails to these people. And so it's usually a best practice to make sure that if you don't have permission, try to get it before you add them. It just makes things a lot cleaner in your list. I also have the option to add a tag to this group. So if there's something that categorizes them, like these are people from my event, I can do that. But in this case here, I just want to tag them all as not new customers, sorry, new leads. These are all new leads that I've gotten at this event. So I'm going to go ahead and tag them that way and finish my import. And there we go. they're all added in. That's all it took. You see my little pop-up there in the corner there that showed me that my contacts are in. So I'd love to know from you guys, like, what questions do you guys have about contact import before we move on to the next section? All right, perfect. It is very straightforward. But you know, sometimes things act awry. The nice thing is that if things don't quite work out as well as and smoothly as they did today, you can always reach out to our support team, and they're happy to help you with this process. We also have a service that if you send us your list, we'll go ahead and just import it all for you and just do it. So we really want to make it as easy as possible to get your contacts in. So of course, it's just easiest and fastest to do it yourself. But if for any reason you get stuck or just need the assistance, you can send us your list and we'll do it for you. Oh, great question. I got a question here. Can you import contacts from Infusionsoft to Keap? Yes, 100%. Basically, the whole idea is as long as you can export your questions, or sorry, import your contacts. Sorry, let me say that again. As long as you can export your contacts from Infusionsoft into a CSV file, we can take those and import them into Keap. One other option too. Now, is it Chevelle? Is that how you say it? Perfect. Thank you, Chevelle. If you're thinking about changing your application from Infusionsoft to Keap Pro, we actually have a test running right now where we can actually give you a little toggle, and we can just move you automatically to Keap Pro. You don't have to worry about exporting lists or moving them in and out. We can just swap you over, and you can move over to Keap Pro and spend time in there. And if you feel like, hey, this is what I need, you can stay there forever. Or if you decide, hey, this isn't the right fit for me, I actually need some of the other features in Infusionsoft, you can toggle it back and live in Infusionsoft, or just swap back and forth as much as you need to. And so if that's something that you find helpful or would like to explore, let me know. I'll talk to our project manager and make sure that I get you access to that. All right, perfect. So let's talk about then, oh, nice, thank you. So let's talk about the other ways that we add contacts. So there is two other scenarios I want to make sure we talk about, and that is the idea that you meet someone at a networking event, or maybe someone just calls you on the phone or sends you an email, and you got to get that information into Keap. It is so essential that you don't let these new connections live in your text chain or your incoming call list or your inbox. You've got to get this information into Keap so that you've got one home for all of your people. And so there's one way that's super simple and straightforward, so I'm only going to use a few moments for it. And that is add a contact, and there we are. It just gives you a chance to add a first name, a last name, and so in this case here, we'll go ahead and add Jenny. Oops, here. All right, perfect. The nice thing is we can also add notes here for the person. And if I click on save, oh, she already exists. All right, we'll go ahead and add one other person then. Perfect. And the great thing is when I add this contact in Keap, it actually gives me some quick next steps that I can take. I can send an email to introduce myself, invite them to meet, or I can just add on another contact. So it makes it really quick and easy for you to add a follow-up connection. So like if I met Janita here at a networking event, I can go ahead and send her a follow-up email saying, it was great talking to you, let's connect. Now, a lot of times you make a connection, you actually got more information than just first name, last name, and email. Maybe you've actually collected some information about their needs and wants. So one other way that we can add connections is if I go over here to campaigns on my left panel. Now, if you're in Keap Grow, you won't see this section here or this option. But if you're in Keap Pro, you'll be able to see it there. and we go up to Smart Forms. All right. And you can see here, here's a form that I've created called Incoming Call. I'm going to go ahead and click on it. And here we are. You can see the information that I've added to this contact. So I've got, again, my standard fields of first name, last name, email, but I've also added one for additional comments. And I can add whatever else that I need. And so, with my flooring company, if I want to know what products they're interested in, I can go ahead and add a field. Let's see if I even have that one created yet. Not that I had it. Okay. We'll use biggest need. Here we are. So biggest challenges. And so here I can add in that information that says, hey, the biggest challenges they're trying to solve right now is that they just have a new baby in the home and they're really nervous that the hardwood they have right now is going to be basically injury prone to a new child, and so they want to change over to carpet. I can get that information right now added and add to that contact record. And anything else I need, I can create a custom field for it or use our standard fields and add it in. So if I take an incoming call, or maybe I have an admin that takes my incoming calls, that admin can capture everything that I want them to capture in one simple form. So let's go ahead and go back here. We'll exit. All right, perfect. So the question that Chevelle asks is, does that invite you just showed allow for one-off emails? In Infusionsoft, you can only see the broadcast. Perfect. So yes, in this case here, when we do that add contact, it pops up with just a one-off email. Now this feature itself isn't available in Infusionsoft. This is a Keap specific feature. And so in this case here, if you were to add a contact in Infusionsoft, it might just say, hey, do you want to send a broadcast to this person? Or it might just say, thanks for adding them, and then you can just drop a message with them. We'll also talk about today some ways that you can always follow up with our campaign builder. And so we'll talk about a little bit about how the Infusionsoft and Keap has other options of always following up. All right, so now that we've created our smart form, we can go up here again to the add, and you can see I've got add contact, import. Oh, let me exit out of here. There we go. Oh, I think because I made a change, it unsaved it. Yeah, let me go back here and add fields. Because I made some changes, I got to make sure I save and publish. There we go. So now if I go to add, I got that incoming call, which is the name you can see of my smart form. And if I click on it, here we are. Here is my incoming call information. I got my additional comments that I had as well as my biggest challenges. I can fill this out and have those things there. All right. Perfect. Yeah, Chevelle asked, I like the feature here of being able to always follow up. It seems like there's some cool features in Keap Pro that aren't in Infusionsoft. 100%. With Keap Pro, it's a tool that we're trying to make it much more straightforward for you to be able to do some of the follow-up that's common and repeatable. With Infusionsoft, it is more of an open canvas. It's meant for businesses that already know what they want to create. They may already have a business process in place, and they want the freedom to be able to create whatever they need to in Infusionsoft. With Keap Pro, it's meant to be a little bit more guided, to say, hey, you might have some ideas of what you want to do. You might have some concepts in place, but there might also be some gaps, and our software is designed to kind of push in a little bit and give you some prompts to say, hey, you might not have a process to follow up, so we're going to give you a reminder that this is an appropriate time to do so. And so definitely Keap Pro is more of a guided tool for some of those most common uses. All right, so let's talk about now the last section that I want to make sure that we cover today, and that is the landing page. So I'm going to go ahead and go over to My Campaigns. And let's do this way. So with landing pages, there's a lot of things that we can do to customize our landing pages, and there's some really cool stuff. But what I want to do is focus instead on the follow-up. And so I'm going to go ahead and click on Explore Campaigns. And you know what? I'm gonna go one place first. I want to show you. We talked about how you can always follow up with these connections. So one of the things we have inside of our campaign builder here is these 8 easy and simple campaigns. Now, if you are in Infusionsoft, these are actually also available to you in Infusionsoft, but you've got to just look for them in the marketplace. You got to go to our marketplace and search for them by name. But in Keap, we present them to you right off the. So one of the ones that we have here is manage a follow-up on SmartForm added contacts. I'm going to go ahead and start setup. All right, I'm going to finish the setup now. All right, perfect. So we've got this goal here. Now, if this is the first time you're seeing Campaign Builder, this might look a little bit unfamiliar because it's the first time seeing Campaign Builder. But we've got a session all about Campaign Builder. So if this is new to you and you're kind of like, whoa, I'm not ready for this yet, that's okay. That's why we give you those prompts in Keap, to make sure that we give you a little nudges to follow up. But if you are ready to take the next step, we've got the Campaign Builder, and you can join us for our session. I think it's on Friday. We talk about Campaign Builder, or you can watch our replay. But in this case here, we can view and edit, and we can choose our incoming call smart form. And whenever we fill that out, we can go down here and we can follow up with an email. We got a little email here that says it was nice connecting with you, and we can create a task to follow up. So this lets us now customize our follow-up process. It makes it so that we can say, you know what, I actually got some different ideas than what prompt you're giving me right now, Keap, and I want to have ownership of this, which is perfect. We want that. We want you to be able to start with the prompts and grow and enhance with automation. So the other thing I want to make sure we talk about when it comes to this automated follow-up that we're always doing is the landing pages. So now let's go over to the landing page one. So again, explore campaigns, follow up with your leads from your landing page. I'm going to start that setup. All right, and there it is. Follow up with leads from your landing page. All right, perfect. Now you're going to see something really cool here with this one, is that inside of the campaign canvas, you actually have a video that shows you all about how to set this up. So again, if someone fills out your landing page, you got a follow-up sequence here. Inside of here, if we go to view and edit, we got a way to follow up by email and create a task for us to follow up. I always love that task because we should be emailing the follow-up, but you should also be making phone calls. People love that voice-to-voice. So let's say we give them a task to schedule an appointment with us in that email. We want to make sure that we have a task to follow up to look for that scheduling. If they don't schedule it, then we want to make sure that we give them a phone call and remind them to schedule an appointment with us. So I don't want to go into this campaign here yet. Actually, yeah, let's do it. I want to make sure that I show you guys this because I'm really excited because this is something that me and my team actually helped to create. And we just love the idea of making it super straightforward and easy for you to follow up. So this landing page here is meant to be a contact us. Ooh. Here we are, a contact us page. I'm going to go ahead and replace with my logo. There we are. Oh, this one here. Perfect. And now that I got my logo up here, when I load up this landing page, it automatically creates for me a contact us. This is one that we made for you guys to make it really easy for your contacts to follow up with you. First name, phone number, email, and a message. So what I have a lot of customers doing is they'll take this landing page and they'll go over to here and they will just set up the, where is it? Redirect options. They'll send it to the thank you page that we created here. And they'll click on go live so that this goes live. And then they'll just go ahead and copy this. and they'll make this their link on like their Instagram profile, on their Facebook profile. So whenever they're posting things, they can say, hey, you know, link in the bio, and you go up there, click in this link, and it's an easy contact us form. And anyone who fills this out, their information goes into Keap, and you can trigger automation to occur automatically. And so we can click on exit, and that landing page is now live. Now I want to take some time and go to a little more of the customization of the landing page. So I'm going to go ahead now and just drag over a new one. So let's say I wanted to start from scratch with our landing page builder. So you can see here, we give you a bunch of templates to base and start your work off of. We know that you might not be a web designer, and that's okay. What we do here at Keap is we're trying to make it as accessible as possible. You can start with that contact us form and get the job done. But if you've got some things that you've actually got like a specific need that you're trying to solve with a landing page, we want to make sure we have a page for you. So those of you who are joining us today, if you've got like a specific need that you would love to see solved with a landing page, why don't you go ahead and just give me that feedback, and we'll look for a page that helps to meet that need. All right, so we got our online course. We'll use that one today. I liked Chevelle's recommendation there to use that. Perfect. So we've got some already kind of created content here for us. We have a place here where we can add a video, talk about this, get full access, place for testimonials. So we can easily just click on that area there. And if I want to, oh, it's an image in this case. Oh, there we go. Oh. There we go. This is where I say how awesome the thing is. We can change all this content, and we can I keep making new ones. Let me just go to my layout here. So you can see here, if I make mistakes, that's okay. I can go to my section and go to, which one's it, row 4. And I don't want these columns, so I'm going to go ahead and throw them in the trash can. Perfect, that's fixed. Whenever I click on one of these elements, go ahead and go here, add elements. Okay, perfect. I get a pop-up on the right that shows me all of my options for editing, so I can customize these things. Like I got this cool dude here with a scarf and a beanie on with his beard and glasses. And maybe that's not quite my demographic I'm going for. I can always replace that image with something else. And the cool thing is I got my company images, I got places to upload. I've also got an image gallery. So if this isn't quite the image for me, I can search some stock images we have accessible to you. So if I want a businessman, let's see what I get here. Waiting for it to catch up here. Like it's taking its time. There we go. Maybe I want that dude to give me a review instead. So once I click on his image, it lets me just swap those out. So I can put his image there instead. Just mark these off here. Sometimes when I'm sharing my screen and building at the same time, my computer kind of takes its time to get those things done. Yeah, see. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and wait. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and there it goes, perfect. Okay, so there's the new picture. I picked the wrong picture on accident, but when I click on that, I can choose my sizing of it. But I can customize how this page looks. I can customize all this content. Like you saw, I can remove things from it with the manage layout, and I've got my full access button here. Now in this case here, the way that this one works is it just has a button so that I can click on that, and then I can have multiple pages in this process. So I can add things in there. I can say, okay, you know what? Actually, in my situation here, I want to add a section, and it gives me all these other cool sections that are already pre-built. So I can just drop them in right away. So what I need as far as features goes is I want a call to action area. Oops, not a call to action. I want a, where is it at? Forms. Perfect. So I can just go ahead and click on this to insert it in. All right, and there it is. So I can now tell you, if they click on Get Full Access Now, I'm going to go ahead and drop them to a section of my landing page. And the section is section 5. So now if they click that button, Get Full Access, it drops them to the bottom where they can opt in. And so in this case here, perhaps I would say, yes, put your information in here. And once you do with my redirect options, I can say I want to go to a URL, and the URL is my actual register space. So this would be the for onlinecourse.com. So if I had an online course, but I want to capture their information first, they fill out their information. When they click on the button here, they go to the registration course. And this is great because it gives me a chance to catch them before they have a chance to pay. So for example, if they go click on that link and it says, okay, great, now you got to pay for the course. Here's how you pay for it. And they're like, you know what? I chicken out. I don't want to pay for the course. I've captured their information, and now I can follow up and say, hey, it looks like you didn't purchase the course. I'd love to know why. If it's a price thing, here's a special offer. If I'm not convincing, let's talk about it. Schedule a consultation. Let's learn about what you're trying to accomplish, and I can tell you about how this course is the perfect fit for you. And these things are totally customizable. All these elements you can change and swap out. I would recommend choosing one that's pre-built and just edit it rather than start to build like crazy. Unless you're comfortable with that. If your thing is building websites, of course you can come back in here and rebuild everything that you want to. It's really meant to be easy for you. Like I said, you can change out images, do styling. You can really customize this so it works for you. But it's a skill set. And so if that's not your skill set, that's okay. We've got templates to make it as easy as possible to get your information over there. So we've talked about how to import contacts, how to add them with just adding or with the smart form, landing pages, and even some campaign builder. So I just love to know, after this things we talked about today, what questions do you have about getting your contacts into Keap? All right, great. That's okay. I know you've been asking questions as we go along, so that's perfect. But I also make sure I give you some time. What general questions do you have? Not necessarily adding contacts into Keap, but just general Q&A about our service and our software, or even just general Q&A as far as your business goes. Like I said, I have 8 years of running my own business, and so I've got some experience there. But I've also been with Keap for 5 years, helping other small businesses get the most out of Keap and out of Infusionsoft. And so even if they're just general questions in that regard, I'm glad to take some time to talk about those as well. All right, great. So we got a question here. What's the best way, or when should you use a task option in your campaign? Great question. So when it comes to the task versus an email, there is a little bit of flex of what is best depending on your business type. I've got some customers that I've worked with that are very low touch. Most of the things they want are all automated, like they really don't talk to anyone before they purchase. It's more of just a guided process. In that case there, I'd probably use tasks as minimally as possible. And I have some customers that are more high touch, where, like, for example, my window cleaning company, like every customer had a different need, and how I solved that need was different. There were some correct themes or similar themes of I wash the windows, but there was also some themes of, or some differences as far as one story or two story. Is it window cleaning or hard water buildup cleanup? There were some things, and so I usually had a personal conversation with a lot of things, but I tried to automate as much as possible. And so the way that I used my tasks was as a fail-safe. And so the way that it worked is, I'll give you an example of one of the things I had on my website, is that I had on my website an online calculator that I had built with HTML that someone could go to, and it would say, hey, enter in your information, and I will let you know how much it will cost to clean your windows. And so what it would do is they'd put in their information, and then before I would show them the results, I would say, hey, thanks for letting me know your information. Let me get your email and your phone number before we get to the next step. And so they would opt in, give me their phone number and email, and then I would present to them their online quote and say, this is about how much it'll be. And then I had an option down below that said, click here to schedule now. And so then they can, schedule with me right online. And that was perfect. I had a lot of people that, without talking to them, they would schedule an appointment. If they didn't schedule an appointment, I had a little timer waiting there. And if I didn't see they were scheduled, it would then send them an email, and it would say, hey, you got an online quote. I saw you didn't schedule. Let me know what happened. Like, is it about pricing? Is it about availability? If you're ready to book, here's a button to click and links to my calendar. Book now, or let me know what concerns you had. I'd love to talk about it. So if it was a pricing issue, I can, talk about it. If not, that's okay. And I had a couple of instances of that. I was trying to use automation to multiply myself and get more bookings made. But if they didn't book after a couple of emails, then I had a task for myself. And that task was to give them a call. I used that task as a backup method. I wanted to use automation first to multiply myself, but if that customer didn't respond to my emails, then I used the task as the follow-up, as a backup to say, okay, emails didn't work, let's get personal and make a phone call instead. Also, in our situation on Friday, what we use as an example is that we use a survey. So if we had a positive survey, we would send an email in response saying thank you. And if we had a negative survey, we would have a task to call, because that was a more sensitive topic. I didn't want to send them an email saying, sorry, we did a bad job. Sorry. I wanted to make that a task to call to say, hey, I am sorry. Let's talk about what I can do to make this right. And so in that case there, even though I could automate it with email, my situation needed a personal touch. So great question. Thank you for that. As far as when are good times to use tasks versus emails. All right, we got a few minutes left. Any other questions we should address today? All right, perfect. So just in summary, the important thing is that you get your contacts into Keap. It is essential because it's really easy to lose track of things. It's probably why you came to us in the first place, is because you were losing track of things. And that's an awful way to run a business. I have been there where I'm like, oh, I can remember that. And everything is up here spinning around. And what happens is I can't focus on the work I have right in front of me. And so it's nice to take those things that are on my mind and put them in a home. And that home is your CRM and Keap. If you got value out of today's session, we would love to get your feedback. You'll be getting an email in a little bit here that has a survey in it. Let us know what you liked about today's session, and also let us know if there's any opportunities that we have on future sessions. to make things better, because we want to make sure that this is a value to you as our customer. We also want to make sure that you know about our other sessions that are available to you. In that email, you'll also have a link to that. There are a bunch of other sessions that we do, some specific to Infusionsoft and some specific to Keap, and some that kind of bridge the two together. But once you get contacts in, you're going to want to know how to follow up better. You're going to want to know how to get them scheduled for that consultation. And we have sessions all about how to help you with that. And so we invite you to search those out and join. We're glad to help you out. All right, well, thank you guys for joining us today. We appreciate you for taking time to stop working in your business and work on your business, to use Keap to get more out of what we provide here. So thank you guys very much.